Welcome to Small Business Stories. I am Mike Downhour with the Monroe Chamber of Commerce. With me is Quentin Durr from Louisiana Catalyst, and we have got John Reed Loflin. This guy's a serial entrepreneur, and this guy is into so many different things. We're about to find out more about it. Man, tell us a little bit about you and what are you doing?
Okay, just to keep it short, I guess, in a short sense. I'm into commercial real estate development. I have a moving company, Nationwide Moving Services and Packing. We have a children and women's line of clothing, and then it goes on. The list goes on and on. There's like 10 things. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
That's what I was stalking them on Facebook. Not stalking, but stalking.
No, he was stalking.
He was perfect.
Yeah, so like I saw comments and I was like, oh, this and that, and I was like, you would be really good if you were to say this story on a podcast. That's right. I looped them in because,
in a nutshell, you are with a lot of property here in Ouachita Parish. Specifically, let's talk downtown Monroe first. Tell us what you've got going on in downtown Monroe.
Downtown Monroe, we have a 14,000 square foot building that we're developing into 3 separate spaces downstairs. Upstairs, I can say, will be Airbnbs. I can say that. I don't know if I should say, me and my wife will be in one space. And I don't know, earlier we were talking about some people that were in it, but maybe, I'll keep that out. But it's going to be something really cool. Everything will be really neat and funky for downtown. We want to bring funkiness to downtown.
Right. Well, downtown is the place for funkiness. Not only that, you come from a family that is also investing in other places downtown. Yeah. Talk a little bit about that and how all of that kind of comes together with what you're doing.
Yeah, my wife's family, they're making their way downtown. They bought the hub, and they're doing some amazing things over there. Just right now, Mondays, we're having praise night over there. And then we've all been really praying about that building to see what to do, whether event or, that's their deal, but they're going to figure out something really cool. They're a funky bunch too as well. A lot of people don't realize that they're very, all of our minds are extremely open to really cool things to do.
Y'all creatives. It's business, creative minds.
And to bring the communities too. We want it to be good for the communities in Monroe and safe and, communal type thing as well. To get off subject for a second, the story that he was talking about earlier that he saw on Facebook was one of the moving company that I operate. We had just moved the 2-star general from here down to the Jackson Barracks. So that's a wild, wacky story. Yes. We packed them, we moved them. From that, I think we might help them out with disaster relief too as well at some point. So that's something cool on that. So that's just a Tuesday.
So like the moving thing, is there a crazy story you can tell us that
tons of NFL athletes. Anything. Businesses, multi-billion-dollar businesses. We've done all kinds of stuff for them. We've, somebody from our company over in Birmingham was with Martha Stewart, recently, doing stuff for her, and there's wild stories that I don't need to tell anyway.
Well, you guys could be anywhere though. You could choose any place in the United States if you really wanted to. Yeah. You choose Ouachita Parish. You choose downtown Monroe. Why do you want to do that?
I think that the property here, and this is going to sound so nerdy and kind of to me, for property and stuff like that. But I think the value of property here is just as good as anywhere else. I think that people are moving out of big cities and they're wanting to come to communities like this. I think that the bang for your buck now downtown or anywhere around here, I don't think anybody should be scared to buy.
Well, clearly you're putting your money behind your mouth.
To buy and develop. And I can't stress that enough to the youth too, you need to buy and develop here as well. Don't just go out of here and do it. It's fun to do stuff elsewhere, but I think that the money's here too as well. You know what I mean? And if you have this idea and you really believe in it, I think that you should definitely go and do it here because, it's good getting that money flow back into our community, Ouachita Parish. I think it's good, just to do it. We need the funkiness too. And we need whatever, everybody's idea is I lived in New York forever. I'm bringing and my wife lived in LA. There's so many people here like that have lived everywhere, all over the world, and they have these things that we need to bring here. You know what I mean? No matter whether or not everybody's behind, you know what I mean? But you're gonna have your niches of people that are like, this is awesome, this is amazing, this is, so cool, that we need here,
Well, one of the things that people moving here want to see is they want to see the quality of life, whether it's the funky places downtown, the arts, the availability and the type of restaurants, and all of those things all work together. And yet, Monroe, Ouachita Parish, we do have a pretty good selection of that, but not enough people know about it from the outside. Yeah. This is why we like to see local people or people invested in this area staying in this area, just like what you were doing.
Yeah, and it's a funny thing though too, where Monroe is a small, big place. I say that because like my wife's originally from Taiwan, but she's from Monroe. So it's like we have Taiwan here. You can go anywhere in the world, mark my words, and you're going to run into somebody from Monroe, Louisiana, or Ouachita Parish. I mean, agree. Seriously, you can be in Bangladesh and see somebody stand there, and you're like, and he's like, I'm from Ouachita Parish. It's like, seriously, we are everywhere. So it's like, we have enough, and then people come back too, during, holidays and stuff. But I feel like even those people, if they're thinking, this is a good investment for them, even if they're not living here too, people that don't even live here that are from here, that they're, everybody's from here. I think it's a great thing to, bring it back, here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So talking about those downtown, is there any of the businesses specifically we can talk about that's coming that you want to highlight in those spots? We know the Airbnbs.
Yeah, I guess I might be able to drop Zach's name, which I just did, like possibly, supposedly maybe we're getting another pizza, a second location for Revival Pizza downtown in our spot. My wife, like I said, my wife's store, Me and My, I don't know if she'll be calling it that, but it's going to have her line. It's going to have different.
She was downtown before, right?
Oh yeah. She was where Standard was.
Okay. Yeah.
And she designed, the innards and all that. Holyfield and her designed that. It's it's really cool. It's going to be really neat. And then we got some surprise for the third space. I've got a few men kind of arguing over it.
We like surprises.
Well, friendly argument over a few people over that space. That's anybody that gets it out of that bunch is good. It's going to be amazing. Then Airbnb's upstairs, like we said, and then we're just going to get it going.
You mentioned the Airbnb. There's been so much mentioned about from St. Francis, from VCOM locally. They're all looking for living space downtown, loft space, apartments. Yeah. All of that is what they're looking for, and that's kind of a change from the way it's been for so many years. It was downtown losing people. But the last 5 years especially, it is just coming right back, bigger than ever. Yeah. Well, maybe not ever, but big.
It's big, it is. And I saw some stats on somebody that has there's some Airbnbs down there, you know what I mean? There are, and there's one in particular building that does, and I saw some numbers on it, it's just like, it's strong, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, I mean, game wide open down there in the gray area. I call it the gray area because that's what it is on a map. It's like kind of the Wild West down there. Right. It's like, we need to all, and it's almost bought up, which is good because we're all, now that's in that stage of you're seeing all that boom, just like, because everybody's like grabbing it, doing it, developing it. Right. It's going, you know what I mean? Desire Street alone, you can see that. I think I'm the second to last building on that street that's lastly getting developed. And once ours gets developed, I bet you the one on down the corner, I bet you it'll, be right behind it too.
What kind of time frame till you're really open and really cooking?
Well, downstairs, for downstairs and the facade and everything, the front and the back and everything, not the Airbnb, but the stores and everything. I mean, we'll be able to get in there and start build outs in July, which the facade should change July, and instantly after that, we already have each of us have our builders already ready. So we're just ready for that front to get ripped out, and then it's like boom. So this year, for downstairs, Airbnb is the second deal to it. So that'll start as soon as everybody gets in and we're all cozy, and boom, then the Airbnb goes in. So.
Well, we've talked downtown, we've talked other plans. Let's expand a little bit into Ouachita Parish. What do you have going on in Ouachita Parish and even outside of there?
Well, I'd do it to moving then, for the moving company. We just it's a nationwide moving service, MT transfer, and we move people in and out of the state. A lot of people joke and say, Louisiana, maybe, are you moving them out or whatever? No, I mean, we move just as many people in.
And we need to hear that.
Yeah, right. I know. Right. And it might not be as many that we move in as we move out, but the ones we move in are coming from places like California, from Austin, Texas, from New York City, from, these cool spots that it really, you know, they're wanting to have a community. You know, recently Colorado. I mean, I literally can go through my head of who we just moved here, which was a couple families from California, Colorado. So we want to be welcoming to them, and these are people that can.
Yes.
See,
you know what I mean? That can do whatever they want to do to help this community.
And that's,
you know what I mean?
like, you're seeing something most, like, so normal people don't see the ins and outs of things. I know when I was doing vacation rental on Lake Darbon, like, I saw the number of visitors coming, and your normal people just living in Farmville had no idea. So I know, like, from your aspect, you're seeing out-of-town people moving here from everywhere, where if you just live in Monroe, you don't know that. So
I'm your dude too, because I've got the number to do that a lot. There's legally, I'm your dude here in Ouachita Parish that can go anywhere in the United States. I can take you to France, out of the country too as well, whatever. So we have an MC number. So yeah, I'm seeing a bunch, you know, in the past 8 to 9 years, in Louisiana, which is how long I've been doing this in Louisiana. Before that was Birmingham, Alabama, which is, you know, they got it going on over there too as well. But, I would say I've met, you know, some really good people that I've brought here that are still here that, you know, like I said, can really invest in it, really contribute and invest. I mean, just snap their fingers and, you know, and I see them, I talk to some of them every once in a while, and they're looking for things too as well. There's a lot of people looking for things, you know. I'm sure you've met some of them, or, you know, through the banks and stuff, and they're looking for stuff. You know?
How can we help you? How can we help our downtown merchants? How can we help, not just support, but how do we rally behind you guys? What's a good way for general public? How can we do that?
I think continue just what everybody's doing. I feel like it's being rallied. Like, you know what I mean? I think we have such an amazing community here. Yeah, you do have kind of, you know, there's half and half, 50-50. I always say the 50-50 people. 50% of people aren't going to like me, 50% of people are going to like me, or maybe even less. Something you have to kind of, you know, so I put that as the downtown. You know, 50% of people are like, oh, the downtown, and then the 50% of people are like, boom. Yeah. But I feel like if just those 50% or the 30% or whatever it is that are kind of like, downtown, like, go venture down there. Or maybe go talk to somebody that has stuff down there. Or maybe, you know, go off to some other little downtowns and kind of see what's going on. You know what I mean? And then
have something
you'll
to
see what,
to.
And you'll see that we got stuff going on downtown. You know what I mean? It really is.
Yeah, because Catalyst was downtown for, you know, it was unfortunate because we opened up right and then COVID hit, and that really messed us up. But those couple of months we were there, I mean, we had really grew and was packing out the co-working space, and it was a great time. I never felt unsafe or anything of that nature. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the main thing. If people think it sounds like I don't even like, me and Rebecca, we lived down there for, you know, for a while, for quite some time. And I mean, I would be out there at 2 or 3 in the morning skateboarding on a longboard, which I shouldn't be. I'm way too old to be doing that. But like, you know, just, and there's no, I mean, after a certain period of time during the night, it's just kind of dead. It's dead, you know, but it's kind of nice to be around down there. You know, it's something beautiful about it, you know.
Well, one of the other things going on down there is right now, several $1 million are being spent to redo sidewalks, bicycle paths, and other things.
Sewage.
Which sewage is one of the big. Underground is huge.
And supposedly I've just heard too, which is, it's the truth, I think, is that all the power lines are going underground.
A lot of that is because of Amtrak coming. And with Amtrak being right across the tracks from you, almost literally.
If you want to zoom in whenever I do that, too, just
But talk about, you know, because construction will begin, you know, soon. Well, talk about that.
Yeah, it has. I've seen that on the main street. I've seen the sewage starting to get worked on. I've seen power lines starting to get worked on. It's just exciting. And all of us down there, we're all together. We're willing to pay that extra too, which is not much. Like, you know what I mean? I said to people in Guard District too and anywhere else, if you want, because we have such beautification is another thing we should have said earlier. Monroe is a beautiful place.
Right.
And I feel like if we put more power lines underground, there'd be less power outages. And I feel like that, like the trees, we have such beautiful old trees and we don't have to cut them down, you know what I mean? Cut it all and stuff. So I'm really excited about that. Because whenever you go to other cities, that's what I love.
Already under.
Yeah, that's what I love about it. You go to other cities, like these huge trees, which we already have it here. You know, Monroe is a forest.
Right.
So it's like let it be a forest, and then let's just put everything, and pay that extra, a little bit extra in the utilities or whatever it is. It's worth it. I think
you'll see the return in property values.
It's way worth it.
Get it back.
Yeah.
Well, we are extremely excited about downtown. We're excited about Monroe, and not just because we're Monroe Chamber of Commerce, but there's a lot going on. Life, quality of life. We are here to support you, everybody else down there. Is there anything else you can think of that we can do to help bring attention, awareness, and then ultimately traffic to downtown for your place?
I just think everybody should just continue what they're doing and just kind of rock and roll and just
like support what you got.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, support what you got.
Because if you don't, you won't have it.
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
mean, that's how
and
that works.
Invest. I don't know which one to look at. Invest. It's that one right there. So, invest. Don't be scared to invest in properties, into getting people, whether it's commercial real estate or housing. We're in dire straits, to me, in my opinion, on commercial real estate. A revamp of commercial real estate is what I like. And I think that there's already brick and mortars here that are for sale, that can be sold behind closed doors probably too, that people want to get rid of, old families, that you can, let's just say, revamp and and use that building. Use the buildings here, because there's so much cool architecture here. 60s, 70s, 80s, 50s, 40s, 30s, 20s. My building's 1927. I love it. But there's so much cool stuff that can be revamped right now.
One of the Amtrak officials, when they came here for the big announcement, she turned around and looked at me. She says, she was pointing to Francis Towers. She said, I want to know if that is whatever architecture brand. And I was ashamed. I didn't know, but she identified it.
I'm sure she knew it.
Along with something else that she had seen in another city, in another place. And it was kind of cool to see somebody from out of town identify our architecture and say, y'all have done a great job. Keep it up. We need more just like it. And that's what's coming.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And like, I call it the mini, what's the one in New York? Tall, big, Empire State Building.
Oh yeah,
I call it the mini Empire State Building. It changes colors and stuff, But also in the housing here too. I mean, there's famous architects that built all these houses in the '60s that are extremely famous. One of them's in a museum up in D.C. One of the houses on Bay Desert.
That's
like
cool.
The literal print of it is in the Smithsonian or whatever.
Wow.
On Pargood Boulevard. It's a very mid-century a house there. So, I mean, a lot of people didn't know that.
No.
Yeah, so it's like, there's a bunch of cool stuff here.
We need to do some other shows on what's really down here, because we don't
the
we don't know
architecture. People came through here, you know what I mean? Like, seriously, like, if she knew, you got to go and figure that out. I don't think mine was of any, whatever.
But you had famous people come to your place.
We did. It was a jute joint. I think it was the first jute joint ever in Monroe. I don't know. Dole Jeter. I don't. Dole Jeter. Yeah, I think. Yeah. But it was. It was a jute joint, and people like Jerry Lee Lewis played in it. B.B. King, Elvis's band played in it. A boy drummer. That was his drummer, boy drummer. The list goes on and on and on. So. Just in that building, you know what I mean? On Desert Street.
That's cool. Wow.
That's you know what I mean? There were nights before I bought it even that I had the keys, and I loved
you could still hear it in the walls. You can hear it.
And I love the family that sold it to me. I love them. I love them. They're like my family, the Bwin family. I ended up inheriting like a mother and a father. I love them. They had touch of style down there and everything. But I remember going up there and sitting in there in the dark and just kind of sitting there and that was even before we bought it, just like feeling it. And then we got it. And then it was like, and I just feel even more vibe on it. So it's a cool thing.
Well, it's hard to tie this guy down to just one or two small business stories here, but we are going to do it again. We want to find out more. And what kind of timeline? I know we started off with it, but wrap it up real quick with what kind of timeline. And if anybody wants to reach you, how do they do that?
Timeline on the building, or just timeline
on opening
on life? Timeline on life. Yeah, on the opening of the building. I'm hoping the end of this year that we'll be ready. You'll see big changes. The windows have been changed, but you'll see dramatic changes in the end of July, and then you'll see. Man, the mock-ups of the insides of these are like it's pretty. It's
looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's big city stuff. It's really neat to bring here, so hopefully by the end of this year everything will be kind of going, you know. And then to reach me,
Just stalk them on Facebook.
just stalk me on Instagram or Facebook. I don't know if I give my cell phone number.
John Reed Loflin, right?
John Reed Loflin, yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll do it. This has been Small Business Stories. Thank you for stopping by.
appreciate
And we're
you.
going to hear
Thank
more about this later on this year. So appreciate you tuning in to Monroe Chamber of Commerce and Small Business Stories.
Thank y'all.